We've been talking a lot about regulation of tech, but not so much this sort of regulation. The New York Times is reporting that various right-to-repair laws and initiatives are gaining ground with proposed regulations in the US and EU that would force companies to share parts, tools, and other repair info with consumers and repair shops so that, you could actually repair and not just trash and replace your devices. Quote, manufacturers of a wide range of products have made it increasingly difficult over the years to repair things, for instance, by limiting availability of parts or by putting prohibitions on who gets to tinker with them. It affects not only game consoles or farm equipment, but cell phones, military gear, refrigerators, automobiles, and even hospital ventilators, the life-saving devices that have proven crucial this year in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, a movement known as Right to Repair is starting to make progress in pushing for laws that prohibit restrictions like these. This August, Democrats introduced a bill in Congress to block manufacturers' limits on medical devices spurred by the pandemic. In Europe, the European Commission announced plans in March for new right-to-repair rules that would cover phones, tablets, and laptops by 2021. In less than 2 weeks, Massachusetts voters will consider a measure that would make it easier for local garages to work on cars. And in more than 20 state houses nationwide, right-to-repair legislation has been introduced in recent years by both Republicans and Democrats. Over the summer, the House advanced a funding bill that includes a requirement that the FCC complete a report on anti-competitive practices in the repair market and present its findings to Congress and the public. And in a letter to the Federal Trade Commission, Marine Captain L. Ekman and former Marine Lucas Kunze last year detailed how mechanics in the American Armed Forces have run into similar obstacles. The goal of right-to-repair rules, advocates say, is to require companies to make their parts, tools, and information available to consumers and repair shops in order to keep devices from ending up in the scrap heap. They argue that the rules restrict people's use of devices that they own and encourage a throwaway culture by making repairs too difficult. They also argue that it's part of a culture of planned obsolescence, the idea that products are designed to be short-lived in order to encourage people to buy more stuff. That contributes to wasted natural resources and energy use at a time when climate change requires movement in the opposite direction to rein in planet-warming emissions, end quote. Sounds like a good idea, right? But I thought I would share what Kate Bevan said about this on Twitter. Quote, this is a great movement, but there are two problems. First, software updates or lack thereof. Android devices are out of support after 3 years. Second, batteries. They have finite lives and are engineered to squeeze the most life out of them in the tiny space of the phone. First is well beyond most ordinary consumers. The second would mean worse battery performance. I think it's a great movement, but I'm pointing out the quite significant hurdles, end quote.